Hi guys. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I don't know what they're going for here. I get the impression that they might be drinking a lot. Of course, the characters certainly are. But anyway, it's 1985 then, Black Hole Repo. And the reason I bought this book is because it promises that it's going to have something to do with George Orwell. Orwell gave you 1984. Welcome to 1985. So what's it about? That's kind of the entire impression I got from the book. It's just drunken people going, ugh. Right. So you've got this little summary here, right? It says, warning, 1985 contains foul language, heavy drinking, graphic violence, lesbian makeout scenes. What, so it's an episode of Game of Thrones then, I guess. A few nipples, an uncut Russian crank, zero showers, a fatalistic outlook on life, like everything on television nowadays or any comic book, yeah. Nihilism, yay! We're rebellious, we're nihilists. No, it's not rebellious. And a not so thinly veiled critique, the shit show known as the United States political scene. So you've got a spelling error in the first bit there. You missed out the of there. So in the warning, there's a spelling error. It's not a good opening, is it really? And making out like you're some sort of rebel because there's foul language there and lesbian scenes. Since when has lesbianism been controversial or, you know, edgy? You get lesbianism in your average soap opera nowadays, and children watch that. It's not rebellious, you know. Anyway, you get the impression, first off, that the people writing this book don't know what it means to be a genuine rebel. That's not a good start. Right? So I'm thinking, okay, so you're doing a book called 1985. Is it going to be anything like the original novel 1984? I'm looking at the Wikipedia page here for 1984, right? And I just want to read out a couple of sentences here and then relate it to what's happening in this book. They're anarchists in space, really, who are drinking a lot. There we go. Their space shuttle's even got the anarchist sign on it. So they're not tied in to the centralised, tyrannical, you know, dystopian state. There is no connection to, you know, to 1984. But let's look at 1984 then from Wikipedia, and I'll relate it to what's going on in this book. 1984, published in 1949 by English author George Orwell. Novel set in Airstrip 1, formerly Great Britain, a province of the superstate Oceania. So is any of that going on here? No, there is no mention of a state, apart from the United States of America, which apparently still exists. But it's a strange America. It's America that nukes Cuba in the 1960s. And I guess this is now the 1980s, and there's a Cold War situation going on. But with a Donald Trump standing called President Rump, you know, threatening to nuke the Soviet Union. I thought Trump was supposed to be some sort of Russian agent. It's not a thing now, is it? Is there a Cold War fear that President Trump's going to start a war with Russia? Maybe North Korea, but that's hardly going to be a nuclear war, is it? That's going to be a war that lasts about 5 minutes with an obvious winner and loser. So this Cold War stuff, America versus Russia again, it's anachronistic. It doesn't tie in with anything that's going on in the world today. Right, anyway, back to Wikipedia. Novel set in Airstrip 1, formerly Great Britain, a province of the superstate Oceania. There's no mention of England or Great Britain in here. Oceania is a world of perpetual war. There's no perpetual war type thing going on here because the guys are just flying around in space getting drunk. And they're completely free. They've all got the Antifa haircut as well, and the girls and the boys are ill-defined, so you don't know who's male and who's female. And I think there's some girls kissing other girls, but it's hard to tell. I don't know who's a boy and who's a girl, which is a common theme in contemporary comics. So look at the images there. Male or female? Toss a coin. Yeah, who knows? Okay, Oceania's residents are dictated by a political regime euphemistically named English socialism. Any critique of socialism in here? No. They're not aligned to the state. And there's the main character in 1984 novel, a guy obviously called Winston Smith, has a main protagonist called what's his name? If I can find it here. O'Brien, is it? Yeah, O'Brien of the Ministry of Love. So you've got Winston Smith, is a member of the party. He's working for something called the Ministry of Truth, isn't it? Yeah, the Ministry of Truth. So his job is to push lies in the mainstream media. Really, that's the job of Winston Smith, and he's fighting back against his program. He's saying, what I'm doing here, it doesn't align with truth and morality. I'm going to fight back against my programming. And O'Brien obviously is a representative of the state, and he tortures Winston Smith in room 101. None of this happens. None of that happens in this book. There is no Winston Smith character fighting back against his programming, because all these people are completely free from the beginning. They're all anarchists who are not aligned to the state, not working for the state. So there's no main villain O'Brien character. There's just that little critique of Donald Trump, which is not really a critique, is it? Doing at Donald Trump isn't really critiquing him, is it? It's just drunken LARPing in the pub trying to impress your mates. And if you want to critique someone, you have to analyse what they're doing and point out why they're right or why they're wrong, and what you would do instead. You don't just go That's not a critique. So there is no main protagonist in the book. There's just these guys with the Antifa haircuts. The gender's blurred, as is common in contemporary comic books. And it doesn't seem particularly intelligent or insightful. I didn't get any strong theme in the book, other than these Antifa types are having a good old time in space. Then somebody comes along and there's lots of blood and guts, and oh no, are these drunken idiots going to, I don't know, have to get a job or something like this? I don't care. I don't care about any of these people. I don't know any of their names. I don't care to know about any of their names. It's not I don't know. It's not pointing a saving searchlight into the eyes of contemporary society and forcing you to look in the mirror and look around you. Look at this nightmarish dystopian present that we're living in now because of the totalitarian regime or Donald Trump. There's none of that in it. It's not even really criticised anything. It just got this feeling of decadence about it, that these people are too free. They don't know what they're railing against, so they're just going to have a good old time in space. The girls are going to kiss the girls, and the guys are just going to get drunk on vodka, and then yay, let's have a good old time. What's it got to do with 1984? Nothing at all. It's called Black Hole Repo, but to me it's a black hole of meaning, a big void of meaning. There is nothing here to grab a hold of. It's just nothing there. It's just nothing there at all. So that's all I can say about it. It's and the artwork, it's just a dark and confusing mess. And none of the characters really stood out to me. It was I don't know, man. It was just like some sort of student project, which was a bit too disorganised, and would probably get a D grade, back in 1985. So not very good, not very good at all, I'm afraid. Disappointing. Okay, and that's it. Bye bye. Won't be buying issue number 2. If you read the book, let me know what you think, and if you wrote the book, what are you going for here? Please let me know in the comments down below, because there was no connection to anything for me. I just couldn't get anything out of the book. It was just a drunken disappointment, really. That's kind of all it was. So there, I'll end the review there. Thanks for checking out the vid. I'll be back later, probably reviewing some DC books, which I'm sure will be a lot better than that. Thanks for checking out the vid, and thanks to all the recent new subscribers I've had on this channel. Give me a thumbs up, that'd be much appreciated. Thanks for watching, take care, I'll be back later, see ya.